Good evening, everybody, and welcome to 108.6's Baseball Talk. Good stuff. We had a great show for Fire Up Florida earlier as I brought on a new co-host, Rod Peterson. This guy was great, and I know what I have in front of me. Three other guys that are absolutely, as Tony the Tiger would say, great if you're a frosted fight person anyway. But anyways, I know a lot of baseball activities going on in the home run derby. So what? We're going on too. So with that said, I want to introduce George Eichhorn. Welcome back.
Hey, good to be here, Scott. And guys, looking forward to it.
Eric Katz. Looking forward to seeing you soon enough, little buddy.
I can't wait till you and Candy are in town.
Yeah, that makes all three of us there. And last but not least, the barber.
Hey, look, I I didn't meet the dress code, and I'm just happy to be here. I'll make sure I hit the dress code next week. George, hold me in check. Send me a Facebook message to remind me, please.
Yeah.
Mark got the green code, but then Scott and Eric look like some oranges going on.
Seriously, man, did you guys coordinate red tonight? Is that our colors?
Yeah. The only thing wrong with Eric's shirt is he got Coca-Cola on there. I was drinking Diet Mountain Dew. And look what we got. Joshua Dorr, Eric's best buddy. Good stuff. What's going on? Yeah, that's Mr. Barber. Can't wait to see you on the new hockey show. Don't worry, Joshua Dorr. It won't be long before you see that. Glad we got the first one out. Glad you were able to watch it. And for those of you that don't know, Joshua Dorr celebrated a birthday today. So let's, instead of a dog check, we'll just say happy birthday to the guy instead. Fair enough?
That's fine.
All right. So there, question for Kara. So you sponsored by Coca-Cola. Go ahead and answer that one. I don't care.
No, I'm not. I just enjoy it. I just enjoy a nice Coke on a hot day.
Remember, Joshua, we get more hot days. These guys up in the Midwest don't get many of them. So, when they sweat, it's real sweat. Okay. So with that said, let's talk about what we're going to talk about for the topics here. Okay. Paulskenes against Shoheiohtani, which is really what we're going to be leading off with anyways. Tigers and Tarik Skubil not getting the nod for the starter. And Eric brought this one up, and we're definitely going to address it tonight. Should Ohtani be considered as an MVP candidate? When Joe Maddon talks, I write and we talk. And last but not least, I want to talk about a lady that doesn't get a lot of publicity, but she will be tonight. Her name is marneygellner of the Minnesota Twins. And this is something that I think is really good stuff. So hope everybody can stay around from top to bottom, front end of the show to the back, because we are loaded. And if we have any time for parting shots, we will do exactly that. So, all right, we got Anna. Let's see who we got in the chat room tonight. Joshua Dorr, Adam Bloomstein, and we hope there's a lot more people coming in. So, happy birthdays all the way around to Mr. Burstein. Okay, well, you know what, Joshua Dorr, the easy one for you, Eric. What's for dinner?
For me later, I don't know, probably spaghetti or something.
Spaghetti. Oh, there you go.
Okay. That's what I had. Spaghetti.
Hey, Joshua Dorr, I can promise you one thing, my friend. It is an Indian food.
Happy birthday, Joshua Dorr.
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy.
I'll be nice. I'll be nice for you.
Birthday, Josh.
I'll be nice to you tonight, Josh, since it's your birthday.
Yeah, well, there you go. See, there could be a friendship brewing here. I know it might take a little time to do it. And Mark calls me the instigator. No, I just say I'm Michael Buffer when it comes to you guys. That doesn't make any difference. So I don't know. We can build this up to a Mark Mancini fight with Eric, but Joshua Dorr deep down inside is a nice guy once you get to know this guy. Yeah. So with that said, let's talk about some business. How do you size up Paulskenes and Shoheiohtani? Eichhorn? Don't fall asleep. Look up. Look at the camera. You are live, as Brent Musburger would say. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I don't know. They're both great guys. We had Ohtani in town this past weekend with the Dodgers. The Tigers took 2 out of 3. They're both great guys. And Paul deserves everything he's getting so far. Again, we talked about it last week. He reminds us a little bit of Markfidrych and the great start he got. Markfidrych also back then was the All-Star in 1976 and on the starting pitcher for the American League. And Skenes, what can you say? I mean, what a great draft choice so far. My God, the Pirates could possibly have hit the jackpot on him. Ohtani, we hopefully he could pitch. Maybe, I don't know, what are they saying, next year maybe? I'm hoping, but he's still doing a hell of a job as the DH. I love that guy. Good, great player. And he helped pack the ballpark this weekend in Detroit. So hats off to both those guys. I mean, they're both great guys, great players. So I want to see more of them all the time. It's going to be fun in the All-Star game watching them.
All right, Barbara, what's your take on this matchup?
I'm looking forward to Paul Skenes getting in there and throwing 3 right past Ohtani. He's already faced them during the regular season in Pittsburgh. They haven't done the West Coast trip to play the Dodgers yet, but he's a unicorn, fellas. I'm sorry, Skenes is he's rare air, and one of the things I noticed about him is the fact that he uses full body motion. He warms up full body motion, which quite frankly probably will help his arm in the long run. I'm not real happy that he's even pitching in the All-Star game, to be honest with you. I would have rather seen him take some time and rest because they have a bunch of guys with arm problems in Pittsburgh in their starting rotation right now. But that is going to be a fun matchup. I know he's such a competitive guy, and I feel like Ohtani's a really competitive guy that will be a really fun battle to watch, and everybody will get to see it on center stage. So I'm excited. I really am.
All right, so let's go back to the chat room, and then I'm going to turn it over to Eric, and I'll have a few words on this whole thing. So, all right, well, you know what? Let's just go here. How was the national anthem tonight? Josh, I wouldn't know. I'm in here. So, but, maybe other people will know. All right, Scott, the fact that you love KFC so much, you should work for them. Dusty, there's not enough time in the day for me anyways to do that, but we don't mind patronizing them. Okay, let's keep going on here as we roll it. Belly Up Sport, there you go. That's Adam's place. Let's see, Belly Up. Okay. Hey, I got to give these guys a little bit of credit tonight after your first deck. They're starting to get to know you a little bit. At least they know where you work. Now, Josh asked a fair question.
Yeah.
For Eric Katz, are you going to ever tune into the chat on my other shows?
Yes, I will. I will. It's been a little hectic as of late, but yes, I plan on tuning into his other shows.
That's a fair question, Joshua.
Yes.
We need more fair questions like that. In fact, Dusty's telling me, that's where you should do your shows. It's not. You know what? I actually have.
I love this Dusty guy. I don't even know him.
Yeah, they're all characters. I like these guys. They definitely. The one thing about
any relation to Dusty May? No, just kidding.
Yeah, save it, George. Some of your jokes are good. Some of them are horribly bad. That was bad. Okay.
I got you, George.
Yeah, he has your back. All right. And one more from Adam before we turn over to Eric. Okay. Question for Eric: do you work at Belly Up Sports full time? That's a good question.
I do not. It's something I do. It's something I do on the side, but I enjoy it very much.
Okay. And by the way, let them know what organization you belong to. It's at the Internet Baseball Writers Association of America.
Yes, Internet Baseball Writers Association of America. It's like the Baseball Writers Association. You get to vote. It's kind of their own vote thing. Like you get to vote on All-Stars, make predictions, vote on the MVPs, and it'd be how it's honored right by the Internet Baseball Writers Association. It's also an opportunity potentially too to pick up awards because they have their own award show and they actually are able to get some notable people, including the actor who played the assistant coach in Bull Durham. He read the awards last year.
Oh, no kid.
He was also in Batman.
Yeah, I like what Joshua George says. Got this ball busted George so hard. Well, guess what? He deserved it. So there. I don't have to defend that one. Come on, George. Got to stick with the program and stay on topic, or in the eyes of Joshua Dore, you'll get ball busted anyway. So, all right. Well, Joshua Dore's trying to get to know Eric Katz. I like this. This is good stuff. Eric Katz, do you have a day job or full-time broadcaster?
I do not.
Okay, fair enough. All right. And obviously, Dusty says Colonel Scott. Yeah, okay. I mean, but at least spell Colonel right instead of an R, Colonel. But I knew what you were trying to say, Dusty. And Josh was going to come in and say, ball busted to Dusty. All right. With that said, my take on the whole thing is this. Toreyluvullo wanted him to be the starter. And you know what? That just shows you how much respect he has within his league as well. So there you go. All right, well, now this one's getting a little interesting. Okay, Eric Katz, did you have a bar mitzvah?
No.
Okay, there you go. All right, so with that said, as we continue the theme here, we'll only do that, though, after Candy gives us a station break.
You are listening to the South Florida Tribune YouTube channel. If you see that red subscribe button, please. Don't understand why you haven't already subscribed, but do it. Share us, like us, tell all your friends about us. Monday nights, before this, we talk hockey. Then we talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday and Thursday nights, Sports Exchange, Fire Up. You never know what we might be talking about. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, CastBox, Deezer, you name it, we're there. We have a website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where George writes, Scott writes, I take pictures. We also have insider information from like the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Lions, and a lot of the South Florida local colleges, including the Miami Hurricanes, the FAU Owls, the USF Bulls, the Florida Gators. Go check out our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. If you have show ideas, you can email us, southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you'd like to advertise or sponsor a show, you can call Scott, 954-304-4941. The South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book late last year. It's called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by none other than Scott Motor City Madmouth Morganroth, and the foreword was written by none other than George Eichhorn. Purchase the book. It talks about Scott's 40 plus years in the business and storytelling. Let me tell you, you got to read the book. And a bonus, you get to see Scott and a young Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
If you missed any of what I just went over, you can either hit rewind or rewatch or you can hit rewind on the YouTube. It has been scrolling on the bottom throughout the program. Enjoy the program. Back to you, Scott.
All right, back to the chat room. Yes. Well, let's see. Dusty's on this Kentucky Fried Chicken thing. So, Dusty, if you go out there and get them as a sponsor, we'll give you 50% of the revenues. We'll put them on the spot. What's for dinner, Dusty and Braden? I don't know. Now, Adam says something that's pretty interesting. I love candy. Boy, you got good taste. So do I. All right. So, and of course, Marco was converting. I'm a Snickers guy. Good stuff. Okay. What is the audio book coming out? You know what, Adam? That's a good question. Candy, why don't you go out there and give Adam a update on the audio book real quick?
Adam, we are working on it. We are. It is being recorded as we speak, and then it has to be converted into an audio file that is sufficient to be put out as an audio book. But we are definitely working on that. We will let you know, to be determined, when it comes out.
Yeah,
Thanks
Candy.
for asking. Oh, one last thing that I did not plug. If you go to our website, there is in the middle of the website on the front page, there is a link to our store. Go out and buy South Florida Tribune merchandise. You need a hat. You need a tank. Mark, you need a new tank top. You could.
I do.
You could sport the South Florida Tribune by buying one of ours or the Motor City Madmouth. Go check it out. Get your sweatshirt, t-shirt, hat, umbrella, koozie. Go check out the store.
Okay, good stuff. I enjoyed it. Joshua Dor, Adam Blomstein, AKK. Rocket Scientist. Good to know. All right, and as for Dusty, 10-piece chicken for $10. How about tomorrow night on the show? You eat a bucket of chicken right in front of the audience. I don't eat on the air, but good idea though. Okay, so now I'm considered to Scott Sanders. Interesting. All right, and by the way, Candy's brother Steve is doing the audio book. Joshua Dor, belly up. I'm as eager as zeal to get the audio. Yeah. That's why we're working diligently, Adam, for that reason. I need the audio book because I am illiterate. Well, okay, that came out of your mouth. It didn't come out of mine. All right, so with that said, okay, the Detroit Tigers ace Tarik Skubil won't get starting nod, which now belongs to corbinburnes of the Baltimore Orioles. So let me go over the stats. George, since you're in Metro Detroit, how disappointing is that?
Well, I think it's disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, kind of going back to what Mark said earlier about getting a break. I mean, ideally, most of these pitchers probably want a break. And the truth of the matter is the starter only going to hit, well, if he gets everybody out, he would only have 3 batters he would face. But that being said, you probably face a little bit more than 3 usually. So as the starting pitcher, I mean, so I don't think there's any disappointment. I mean, yeah, we would have liked to have it here, a Tiger player do it as a starting pitcher, but I don't think it's going to be one of these big, what do you call it? Agonizing fan base here because it doesn't happen. So you have a lot of great pitchers in the American League, and certainly, Burnes was up there, and it's just a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing. I'm sure Tarik is going to get in the game. I'm sure he'll get in the game because AJ Hinch went and called Bruce, the American League manager, Bocce, and he told him some good things about Tarik. He did not beg to have Tarik start, but he did call and talk to Bruce about, all the things he's done to help the Tigers this year.
Okay, Joshua Ashton was hoping to get here tonight. He's traveling to get back. The plan is to bring him on next Monday night rather. Orioles winning the World Series. Joshua, for some crazy reason, I think you're probably right. Let's go out there before I bring on Mark and Eric and do the tail of the tape. I don't know much about this war of wins above replacement, but I'm just going to read the numbers down from one and the other, and I'll let you guys try to figure it out. Okay, with corbinburnes, excuse me, you got, thank you. Well, with corbinburnes, WAR is 2.9, games 19. He started 19, 118.2 innings pitched, 9-4 record, 2.43 earned run average, strikeouts 110, walks 25. So. And now we'll go over to Tarik Skubil, His WAR is 4.5, 19 and 19 on the games that started, 116 innings. Boy, these numbers are pretty close, aren't they? 10-3 for the win-loss record, 2.41. You can't get much closer to 2.43 and 2.41. And then you got strikeouts 140. Yeah, he got that's a bit more lopsided than the other one. And again, Burnes had 25 walks, and meanwhile, Skubil 21. So those are some pretty close numbers. So with that said, I'll let you take over from Mark, but let's go back there. Okay, so now let's go back to Eric Katz. Eric, Joshua wants to know, do you eat KFC?
Not very often.
Okay. And Adam Lucien, if the Marlins win the World Series, won't happen this year, I will buy Scott a bucket of KFC chicken. Well, you know what? I'll take you up on it, but I'll keep the money in your pocket. I don't think I'll be making that bet anytime soon anyways. So with that said, Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Scott, since we're down that rabbit hole with KFC, do you do extra crispy or just regular?
Oh, I love extra crispy. Are you kidding? I'm addicted to KFC extra crispy. And I'll even get their wings every now and then and all that between extra crispy.
Original.
The original for me too.
Split the bucket. That's what happens at your house, you guys?
Yeah, that's actually what we do. Yeah.
Hey, in terms of the pitchers, man, I definitely would pull that kid out from Detroit, Skubil. I think he made a smart move. They're really leaning on that kid, and he's pitching great. He's part of the backbone of what they're developing there, and there's no use him going in there pitching, whether it's 3 batters or 33 batters, which we know wouldn't be that, but you let the kid rest. I mean, he's worked a lot, and Burnes deserves the nod anyways. He's been a top shelf pitcher for how long now? And he's playing on a great team, which blows my mind away, to be honest with you, that Milwaukee traded him, but he's on the last year of his deal, if I'm correct. So I kind of can see that. In some ways, I feel like the Orioles are trying to go, going back to that. I kind of feel like they want to put all their eggs in this basket right now with their pitching. They know they have the young group coming up, not as much young pitching though.
All right, Josh Fedora, they know Scott name when he comes in. They say, welcome back, Mr. Madmouth. Boy, Josh, you are really accurate on this one. I wear my Motor City Madmouth hat. That's why they always welcome me back in open arms. Another $20 or $30 later, they really like me even more. Okay, now Dusty says, Crispy Man, yeah, we're okay there, buddy. Okay, Josh Fedora should do a special segment on KFC next show. I don't know how you want me to do it, but you come up with anything that makes sense. My mom always taught me to be open-minded. Adam Bluestein, Motor City Kentucky Fried Chicken Mad Mouth. It's interesting, but don't expect me to trademark it because Motor City Mad Mouth cost me too much. I don't do 2 trademarks. And then last but not least, Motor City Fried Chicken Mouth. Okay, whatever. I'll take it all. Okay, with that said, now that we got through all these chicken references, we'll go over to Mr. Cheesehead, Mr. Katz up in the nice state of Wisconsin.
Yes. Really, it doesn't really, obviously Skenes, obviously they want to get him on the bump immediately. What he's doing in a short period of time is unbelievable.
Right.
But I don't think, to me, it doesn't really matter who starts the first inning because every pitcher that's going to get in the game is probably going to get an inning at most. And hopefully they can get through, 3 batters. So really, it doesn't really make a difference to me. Again, Tarik Skubil made the All-Star team for the first time in his career. He's very well deserving of it. I think where it will matter more is, say hypothetically, those guys postseason, those guys' teams are in the postseason. That's going to be the one you pay attention to. Who gets the ball on game 1? That means more than just the annual exhibition game during a break in the season.
All right. Well, we're getting some really nice, friendly comments from you, Eric. So you're free to go ahead and call Don King anytime you want. So Joshua Door, I was waiting. It's just a matter of time before he gets into this thing anyway. Eric Katz, he's lighten up a bit. Okay. All right. Whatever. Now he's saying, cheer up, little fella.
Don't ever call me that. Don't ever call me that again, Josh.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Well, there you go, Josh. You've been warned. Okay. Adam Bloomstein, on a serious note, Scott, do you know if they brought back wedge fries? You know what? I haven't seen them on the menu, and Dusty's looking for a fight if you want to pick on Eric. Eric Katz is an idiot. Dusty, you better go back there and eat your Kentucky Fried Chicken because I think somebody once called somebody a Kentucky Fried idiot one time on a show. I don't know who, and I'm not going to devote the show to all this good stuff. Okay. Was George silent for the rest of the show? No, but he doesn't like any of this nonsense that's going on right now. But he's just keeping everything going on. And Joshua George said, "Little fella." Okay, well, whatever. Okay,
I'm waiting my turn, Joshua. I'm a polite man.
Josh, I promised to be nice to you tonight because it's your birthday. Don't make me regret my decision or change my mind.
Yeah. Okay. There you go, Josh. Okay. Now the battle lines are drawn. Okay. So again, yeah. But the main thing is, Eric, and the rest of y'all, is this. Here, Burns is going to get only 1 inning. Yeah. Skubil's only going to get 1 inning. This 1 inning has to be the first and one probably the second, and then the rest of them are going to go on and on and on. So
right.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. That's my opinion. George, did you comment on this one?
Yeah, and I agree with you, Scott. That's kind of what I was hitting at earlier. Yeah, they're going to. Skubil, in fact, might not even get a 1 inning. He might be in there for 2 batters only because they like to get 8 to 10 pitchers in there. Those managers,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bottom line is I know the starting pitcher to me is an honor, is what many people are figuring. Okay, but the reality of the situation is you've been selected to the game anyways. To me, I think it's just pretty neat that they're all going to have an opportunity to participate in some way or another. And remember, the festivities leading up to the game and something that I've been to one All-Star game myself when it was in South Florida. So I get it. Just live for the moment. All right. So with that said, let's go on to topic number 3. This one actually Eric came up with. I was determined to get it in there, and now we're going to do exactly that. Should Shoheiohtani be considered an MVP candidate as the Dodgers DH? We're going to start with the guy that went out there and brought the topic on, Mr. Katz. Go ahead.
No, I don't believe he should be an MVP candidate. Is he having a great year? Yes, absolutely. But however, he doesn't play the field. All he does is sit there and wait for his turn to at bat. So while everyone else goes out in the field and has to bust it out on a ground ball or fly ball or line drive or whatever, he just gets to sit there and watch and wait his turn to bat and be a little cheerleader in the dugout. There is a year. The last time we came into this debate was in 2005 when David Ortiz finished second by I think 4 or 5 votes to Alex Rodriguez. Now, statistics were used a lot differently back then. Nowadays, they kind of go into OPS and all that other stuff, but back then they weren't really getting into that. Well, now if you were to use modern terms, Alex Rodriguez would definitely own that vote. However, Ortiz had 141 RBI that year and still didn't get the award. He was a DH for most of his career. Yes, he was an MVP candidate. He was also a big reason why in 05, when he finished second, why the Red Sox made it to the postseason that year to begin with, along with aside from Manny Ramirez, because I don't believe anybody else had nearly the RBIs that Ortiz had, aside from maybe Manny Ramirez. They, it's, to me, you have to go out and play the field. Everybody knows that pitching and defense, if it wins the championship. Ohtani does neither. I mean, had he been pitching, would he be an MVP candidate? Absolutely, because we haven't seen anybody truly do both extremely well ever in the history of the game. However, this season, Ohtani, you got to go out there and play the field. Baseball is more than just hitting; it's about pitching and defense. And right now, the only defense you do right now is you sit in the dugout and hopefully avoid another foul ball. So for that, I'm sorry to all the Dodger fans and Ohtani lovers alike out there, but your boy is not an MVP candidate. He does not play the field, period.
It's okay. You stated your case pretty well. What do you think, Mark?
I don't have anything to say. He said it all. Holy cow. Yeah. No, I don't think any DH should ever be considered 100%. All he has to do is go up, swing a bat, run the bases, go sit back down. 100%. I'm with you the whole way through, Eric. You know what? It's even a problem for me for a guy who plays the majority of his career as a DH. Unless he has astronomical numbers, I don't think they should get in the Hall of Fame. But again, that's me. I do think you need to show a defensive side for at least half of your career before you're relegated when you get older. And no.
Well, I just think that Ohtani's just lucky that he can play, and the Dodgers are getting contributions out of him considering what they're playing. Me personally, I think the best designated hitter of all time is the one who actually played when it first came out, Williehorton. I mean, that's just my opinion. And no, Icorn, keep your thoughts where they're at, and don't try to say you agree with me because I'm right anyway. So we'll call that a ball buster. But you answer the question, and I just threw Williehorton. I think Williehorton, for those of them that watch him play, Williehorton was a heck of a designated hitter, a heck of a player, more important, a better person. So, George, what do you think? Ohtani MVP candidate?
Why not? For all the reasons that you two guys said no, I'm going to say yes. He's still on the major league roster. He's still part of the team. He's contributing to that many victories. He's contributing to that many base runners, moving, advancing, whatever. Look at all the stats you want. I don't care if he's still on that roster, still on the team. Anybody that's on that roster should be deserving. I mean, considered, not deserving, but considered in the balloting. So, and it's true. He will be considered. I mean, we can't sit here and say he won't because we don't vote. Baseball Writers of America are the voters in this whole thing. So, but no, I'm not going to subscribe to that theory. I think the designated hitter is a vital part of the game and vital part of every team and the success of every team as well.
Well, me personally, I never liked the designated hitter in the first place. I always thought the pitcher should hit so he can help his own cause. But considering that's not the nature of the question, should he be considered? I always say people should be considered. Doesn't mean they're going to win it.
Right.
Because you got to remember, the reason why I take that position is you don't know what other players are having type of years, especially at the time that I'm asking each of you guys these questions. You follow me? So, again, baseball is one of the only sports that numbers really tell a lot more than any of the other sports. So time will tell. It's not like it hadn't been done. And, I guess you have to base your designated hitter talk about how many are in the Hall of Fame in order to, when you look at how many are considered. But, Eric, I still think it was a dynamite topic. It really was. So,
I mean, Ortiz was a designated hitter for most of his career in the Hall of Fame, but obviously they overlooked the steroid issue because he was a media darling.
Yeah, and I had a problem with that. Like I didn't think Ortiz should get in the Hall of Fame for both reasons you just said.
McGuire was a nice guy too, but he's not in the Hall.
No,
he wasn't a media darling either. I mean, he was probably the most, how do you say it?
Save for 98, he was save for 98 with the whole home run, the whole initial home run chase. No, Mark was a very likable guy.
Sure, he was. He was saving the sport of baseball with Sammy Sosa. What do you expect him to be? Yeah. Seriously, the sport is just about dead, and those guys saved it. And whether they get in the Hall of Fame or not, nobody's going to sit here and go out there and say otherwise. All right, let's have a little fun with these guys in the chat room. Okay, Adam Bloomstein, what's your favorite type of beer? Well, that's okay. That's lighthearted. I'll let that go through.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking
Oh,
you. Adam wants to.
I like I really like Spotted Cow
Okay,
or
fair enough.
I hear great stuff about that.
or a River West Stein.
Now, this doesn't surprise me. Joshua Ohtani's the only name I know in baseball. Well, I guess I can enjoy a little humor there. All right, George, it's your turn to give a dog check. Go ahead.
Dog check.
Say,
Happy birthday, Joshua.
okay, can we get a dog check from everybody? All right, here's your dog check. Okay. All right.
I'll give you a dog check.
There you go. You just did. All right, Eric, go ahead. Give a dog check here. That's one of the easiest things you'll be asked to do from these guys.
Dog check, jog check, Josh. Happy birthday.
There you go. Happy. There you go. And what else? All right, there you happy, Joshua. You got all your dog checks. Now back on to baseball. All right, let's
Dog
see.
check.
There you go. Candy's got it
There's the
And now Dusty's doing something stupid. He's trying to guess your height. He says you're 5'3". All right. Now, well, okay. Hey, Dusty, maybe one of those chickens that you might get at KFC once upon a time was 5'3" until they took care of business. And I'm leaving it at that. I don't want to gross people out. Onward we go. Joe Maddon speaks out on the state of baseball. The game is not being passed down from generation to generation right now. It's like everybody's after their own brand as opposed to playing this team concept. Now, I like that. I you know what? Joe Maddon should be managing, but he's the guy that will still always go down as a man that broke the curse with the Cubs. George, what are your thoughts about Joe Maddon?
I've always admired Joe. He's a good man, a good manager. He's a good Polish guy, just like me. I'm part Polish, not all. Joe Maddon. Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that knows the game inside and out. You know, he reminds me a little bit of Leland and, you know, cut from the same cloth as some of the great managers that we've seen over the years. So, oh, yeah, I mean, you know, to me, it's obvious. To most fans, maybe it is too. But, you know, when players going for themselves, going for records, going for the next pay increase at negotiating time for the contract, that's self-centered. That's a very self-centered approach, not only in baseball, but any athlete in any sport. The team concept is something that Joe preaches, and I do applaud him for coming out publicly and saying that, because baseball is a team game. Baseball is a team sport. You want to be successful, you want to win the World Series, all parts have to be working in the right direction for the right way for the team to win it all. So I think that's a good quote from him, Scott.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, team concept. Let me tell you, and I'll get my opinion out of the way, and then Mark and Eric can close the topic, and then we'll go to the final one of the night. You go with the Tampa Bay Rays and the Chicago Cubs, and you win a World Series Cubs. Your opinion matters to me, and I think that to me, he is on target. That's all I have to say. Topic over to the barber.
Hey, listen, I personally would have loved to have seen a guy like Joe Maddon coach the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's got all the pieces of the puzzle he needs right there, right in front of his face, and he would do great things with that organization. That's the kind of guy they need, but they would never hire, because he puts his foot down when it comes to making baseball moves, whether he's on the field or off the field, and that's a no-no. Love his quote. He's 100% right. I get sick and tired of watching guys strike out after strikeout in Major League Baseball. It's ridiculous. Every guy gets up there swinging for the fence, and it's insane to watch. Like, their swings are insane to watch today. So that's my piece on it.
Well said. All right, Eric, go ahead.
Well, you know, love Joe Maddon. Obviously, he still has a very special place in Chicago, despite how it ended there. And obviously, he's responsible for ultimately sparking the Rays success, the beginning of the Rays success that they had both under him and then going forward under Kevin Cash. I think, you know, the deal why Joe Maddon won't be a manager, aside from which I truly believe he got absolutely wronged in Anaheim, thanks to Artiemoreno, because he panicked after Joe Girardi was fired in Philadelphia. But here's the thing: Joe Maddon right now is howling at a cloud right now, and you know, some of it I agree with, some of it I don't agree with. But right now, the game has kind of changed on Joe, where the manager has less of an influence on the game, and Joe Maddon just doesn't want to roll with that. He's not the easiest guy to get along with. Front offices with managers kind of want yes men who pretty much go off. You know, a lot of these guys will just manage off the spreadsheet. But aside from a few guys today who truly have control of the lineup card, but he'll but the thing is, Maddon just can't do the modern game. He's kind of a bit of a control freak. He's kind of like what Mike Shanahan was toward the end of his time in Denver and Washington in the NFL. The guy can't help it. But as great as he is, I think he should be go into I think the Hall of Fame, because if you break a curse and then you lead the Rays to their first ounce of success, you definitely have a place there. But problem is, I think Joe doesn't like the modern game, and that's just the way the game has gone now. I mean, I just don't see him kind of rolling with that because he has less influence and less control. So, I think for now, though, I think Joe's managing days are over.
Well, I agree with you. I think he likes his RVs anyways, travel around the country anyways. And Joe Maddon's one of those types of people. Yeah, those two. I mean, reality is that Joe Maddon, to me, it's just one of those guys that you're right. He is strong-minded, but I don't blame him. I like the way he manages. It's just like you say, today's modern standards just don't allow a guy like him to get back into the game. But you know what? He's had a good run. And you know what, Eric? Down the line, I think history will treat him well that he does get in the Hall of Fame. Just like Theo Epstein and Joe Maddon will both get in at some point, and Mark Mayer and I will be over there doing a show from Cooperstown in front of their respective plaques. You know what? Adam Bluestein, I like this. Excuse me. Throat issues will do that to you. So you know what? Before we go on to our last topic, because I like this one. Okay, can we go around the room and say who think will win the World Series? All right. And you know what? This is a fluent topic, but I'm going to go out there, and I like this one, Adam. George, as if this moment, okay, and it's fluid, who do you think will win the World Series? Just win one team.
I'll go with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay, Mark?
I'm going to go with the Orioles.
Eric?
The Phillies.
Yeah, I'm going Phillies. Okay, there you go, Adam. And you know what, Adam? I know you're doing a good job participating in the show. No problem. And that last question you gave was really good. So we're good. So with that said, final question of the night, but this is a really good one. Marneygellner is the first woman to call play-by-play in Minnesota Twins history. She called a recent series at the Chicago White Sox. Let me tell you something. Marneygellner, and I guess the best part about having the MLB package is you can see a lot of the opposing teams. Marneygellner deserved this opportunity. And now we're starting to see more and more women do play-by-play jobs. I'm happy for Marnie, and I hope she'll fall into the Jennifer, Carver situation and ultimately have a chance to do full-time play-by-play. With that said, George, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Oh, well, thank you, Scott. Yeah, I'm very happy for her as well. We have a young lady in Detroit that's contributing very nicely on the broadcast, Daniela Bruce. For both the Red Wings and the Pistons. She's not doing play-by-play though, but she's interjecting comments and interviews that she's done with Tiger players. But yeah, I mean, they waited such a long time. Most ladies, obviously broadcasters have never had a chance to do baseball play-by-play, nor have they had a chance to do much play-by-play at all with the men's sports, let's call them professional sports. So I'm happy for her. I think it's a great move, and I can't wait and I'll go into YouTube. I'll hear some of her broadcasts, and I think this is great for baseball and great for Chicago as well.
Okay, what do you think, Mark?
It makes me happy that a female is doing play-by-play because oftentimes they stick them down in a booth to go up and interview a manager, a coach, whatever. They give them a menial role, and this isn't a menial role. And it just goes to show you that they bring as much to the table and offer as much as another guy who might be announcing a game. And that's great for the game. That's great for any sport, to be honest with you. We talk about Title IX, and this is what it's all about.
Okay, Eric?
Well, I want to call out Mark here. First off, they don't just stick them in a booth and it's a menial role. That job is actually a lot harder than you might think, because you actually have to develop your questions as the game goes on. It's arguably harder than play-by-play.
You don't think somebody's in their ear helping them out?
They have
you don't think somebody's in their ear when they're down on the field talking to a manager?
I'm sure they are, Mark. I'm sure they are, but they have to prepare too. You can't just go to the ballpark and say, "Here I am, world. It's a great day."
No, that's not what I said. If you listen to what I said, it's a menial job. They're down the field. They talk to somebody for 2 minutes, and that's about it. When you have somebody upstairs doing play-by-play, it's a lot different story. It's not a 5-minute job at a clip.
You are the eyes and ears of that dugout, and you are constantly pitching stories while you're in that dugout. Sophia Minnaert arguably is the best at it.
Listen, little fella, whether they are on there for 5 minutes or 15 minutes, they are not like a play-by-play announcer. They don't get the credit they deserve. They don't get the opportunities.
It's a lot hard. It's a lot harder, Mark, to prepare.
You've done it, right? You've been in that dugout. You've done it, right?
Oh, I've done.
I highly doubt it.
Not for Major League Baseball, but I've certainly done the role. And you have to develop. You have to pitch the stories as the game goes on because the stories constantly change. Play by play, you kind of go with it as it goes. But in the dugout, just for 5 minutes of fame, you are literally a salesman or a saleswoman selling that role.
Okay, well, you know what? I enjoy the debate between you guys. Now, this is definitely a generation gap here between the two of you. Okay, well, first of all, Adam Bloomstein says, Eric, how do you know all of these people? All right, you know what? I think that's a sign of respect. Go ahead and answer that question.
Like the Beach Boys, I get around.
All right, well, you know what? I'm going to give you a name to watch out for down the road who I believe will ultimately get a play-by-play job. I don't know when, but she's one of the best announcers in South Florida. Her name is kellysaco, S-A-C-O. You ever heard of her?
Yes, I have. She's terrific. She's very good at what she does. She's she definitely will. She definitely will do it. Actually, I probably, her and Sophia Minnaert are definitely like neck and neck there on who's truly great at it in baseball. But yeah, as far as women in play-by-play goes, because I didn't get to answer the question, I think it's terrific. I think that there's a great future for it. I think Jenny Kapnar is paving the way there because she was a reporter for the Padres and then the Rockies for a very long time, and she actually is from Colorado. So the fact that she left to go and do the job in Oakland is pretty significant. I think you'll see more of it. We see them starting to do broadcast all the time. I know the Cubs just did one with Beth Moen, who actually I'm spoiled. I get her here in Milwaukee for the Bucks, and she's also on Big Ten networks. But I think we're starting. I think you'll as it goes on, you'll start to see more women doing baseball play-by-play.
Well, you say Beth Moen does it for the Bucks. Don't they also have that other woman from the Big Ten network? I remember who she is too. I'm drawing a blank.
Beth Moen, I think she's also on Big Ten Network, if I'm not mistaken. Or I think she was at one point. I think she was at one point anyway.
Yeah, I'm just drawing a blank. But
she also did college football for a long time.
Right.
You know what though, kellysaco, and I think one of my best colleagues in the area happens to be Jessica Blaylock. Oh my God, Jesse and I go back a long time. We really do. And another great colleague that I have so much respect for is Craig Minervini for sure. So, but he's not part of this question. But I don't see Jessica Blaylock ever doing play-by-play. I think she's good in the role that she has as a studio host. George, you met her one time when you saw her up with the Panthers and the Red Wings. She's a great friend. But kellysaco is a name that I could see doing play-by-play, that's for sure. So marneygellner, you continue to go out there and open up new windows, and I hope you ultimately become the full-time play-by-play person in Minnesota because they know you and they know you're good. And anytime I get a story like this and I can talk about it, I do it. So with that said, you know what? You guys want to have a few parting shots? Go ahead. I got time for it. George, what's yours?
Well, I know things are compressed this year, guys, with the Olympics coming up. But what kind of sport foolishness, Manfred, are you playing now? First of all, you crammed the MLB draft the same time as the All-Star weekend. I don't like that. And then guess what? It's All-Star. It's Hall of Fame week next week at Cooperstown. Now, wait a minute. You got to set your calendar a little bit better, Manfred, and work with the people involved. And don't do these things back to back to back like this. It's not fair to the players, the club executives that travel to these events. If we got somebody like Jim Leyland going into the Hall of Fame, you bet there's going to be a huge Detroit contingent. All I'm saying is study that calendar more ahead of time. I will give you a pass this year because the Summer Olympics in Paris are coming up. So a lot of schedules got condensed. But no, please, next year baseball, take a look at that calendar a little bit. Spread them out a little bit. Spread them out.
But
Thank
George, if you're going to do that, okay, this is where you're really out to lunch now. All right, Josh, get in with the ball bus, okay? Because I'm going to hammer Eichhorn this time. You think Adam Silver went out there and did anybody any favors, putting all this stuff in after the finals, draft, and all that business and all that? Give me a break, Eichhorn. What Kool-Aid are you drinking tonight? Because evidently these commissioners like to copy each other. Yeah, water. Okay, the transparent Kool-Aid, probably something more healthier when I'm drinking, anyways. But still, give me a break. You got to come down harder in the NBA because they're doing the same darn thing. Seriously? Okay. Anybody else? Now that happens to be my parting shot because Eichhorn decided to pick on MLB and I can hammer the NBA. All right, Eric, what's your parting shot?
I'm going to take a hot take here. I don't think the Orioles have enough pitching to win the World Series. I just don't, you got Corbinburnes and you have Grayson Rodriguez. Yeah, Albert Suarez is having a great year, but if you look at some of his stats, a lot of that is just luck. We saw their pitching last year and in the playoffs get absolutely kiboshed by the eventual World Series champion Texas Rangers in their house, mind you. But this year, Craig Kimbrell, a little shaky in the bullpen. He is not the Craig Kimbrell of the Atlanta Braves and the Boston Red Sox. He is more shakier than a leaf on a cold winter day. I'm sorry, but the Orioles are not winning the World Series, period.
All right, well, you know what? Why don't you talk to Joshua Dora? He says you need a timeout for talking to the barber like that.
How about you have a timeout from talking to me?
Respect your elders.
Yeah, respect your elders. That's what he's saying. Hey, Joshua, just so you know, okay, Eric is waiting to see you come on the air so that all this stuff that you can type, okay, you can actually talk. It would be, I guarantee the ratings would be off the charts and I'll see if I can find Don King somewhere in Deerfield Beach to promote Eric Katz versus Joshua Dorr. Just think about it. Okay, with that said, Joshua Dorr says he sees the Orioles winning the World Series. All right, well, time will tell, but that was part of the question. Okay, who's going to win the World Series? That his man Adam went out there. Is this chat censored? I don't know. Who knows? So now, Joshua, I'm good. Eric Katz is a one-be tough guy dude who needs a lighten up. I can't wait to get Joshua Dorr on there. Hey, Eric, let me ask you a question. If Joshua Dorr ever decides he wants to come on here, would you take a last-minute come on to go on the same show with him regardless of what you're doing?
I'm a phone call away, Scott. You know that.
Okay, there you go. So Joshua Dorr doesn't have to be limited to baseball. If you ever want to commit here, Eric Katz will put everything that he's doing aside and will come on the show. And as Michael Buffett would say, let's get ready to rumble. And all of us out here with him, we're going to let you guys go at it until one of you gives up, gets tired. We'll see who employs a rope-a-dope. All right, Mark.
Probably the old man, Josh.
Just think about it, Joshua Dorr. Be careful what you ask for. I have better things to do. Be seen on the show with Eric Katz. Oh, okay.
Well, then you won't be taken seriously. You won't be taken seriously at all.
All right. Well, there you go, Joshua. You better. Okay. Then I think he's going to have to look at your chats a little different. Say, okay, yeah, okay, all right, never mind. All right, Mark, what's your parting shot?
I'm just looking forward to the trade deadline coming. Once the All-Star game is over, see some of the pieces of the puzzle move around. Not much is happening yet. I want to see who strengthens himself, who does nothing and stays in the midst of where they are, and who actually sells and gets something for what they sell.
Fair enough. All right, Candy, one more station break before I call it a night.
The show is being brought to you by the South Florida Tribune Publishing Company, which published a book last November. It is called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is available Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, Google, Kindle. George wrote the foreword. Scott wrote the book. Get your copy today and don't delay. Go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. You can get a South Florida Tribune tank top, polo shirt, sweatshirt, Motor City Madmouth, you name it. You can sport it for us. Again, www.southfloridatribune. You can also see Scott's writing, George writing, and my pictures. You can go to our website and see all of these broadcasts, see the local transcripts from the Dolphins, the Jags, the Lions. They're going to be starting up here in a little while. You can find information about the Marlins, the Florida Panthers, and a lot of local colleges here, the sports teams, the Gators, the Hurricanes, the Owls, the Bulls. If you like to listen to our podcast, you can get it wherever you get your podcasts. iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, Deezer, CastBox, you name it, we're there. If you see that red subscribe button, you have not subscribed to our programming, and I just don't understand why. Hit it, like us, share us with all your friends and family. Monday nights we talk baseball and hockey before the baseball. Tuesday nights is football. Wednesday and Thursday nights, you never know what we're going to be talking about. Scott also has a show, the Motor City Mad Mouse Show, which appears on nofilter.net. Most of the time it's on Wednesday night. This week it's going to take a Thursday night seat. You just never know. It's a one-on-one interview show. I think that's pretty good. If you want to sponsor a show, call Scott, 954-304-4941. If you missed anything or I talked too fast, it's been scrolling around the bottom all night long. Or I said it once before, rewind and listen to us again.
The only reason that she's talking faster is she's been hanging around me a long time. I guess some of my habits rub off a little bit. So I'm not afraid to admit it. I talk fast. Of course, some of my stuff's predicated by the amount of caffeine I have too. So they go figure. So with that said, George, let everybody know they get a hold of you.
Yeah, I write for the South Florida Tribune under the Motor City Tribune banner. At the end of these columns of mine, you'll find a link to purchase my book, which is called Detroit Sports Broadcasters on the Air. Scott's in there. I've got that same picture that he's got in his book, which is kind of cool. We both claim fame to that picture, which is Scott and Muhammad Ali, and also great voices of Detroit radio, television. A great book for everybody. You can reach me at gicorn@yahoo.com or on Twitter at SanGSports99. Follow me on LinkedIn and also watch me on these shows, 108 Stitches, the Sports Exchange, and other programs that Scott and Candy need me on. Great to be on the show again tonight, guys, despite the badgering I took from several people.
That's all right. Certain chat rooms are just what they are. You know, they add a little lively energy, and as long as for the most part everything's in good taste, I'll let everything go. Every now and then, if I feel they cross the line, I've made a decision I'm not going to put them up anymore to keep everybody in the proper frame of mind. That's for sure, and that's what I'm going to do going forward on certain things that I see in front of me. So it isn't ignoring. It's just about making sure it's more like omitting. All right, Mark, let everybody know how they can get a hold of you.
They can check out my pod page, podpage.com, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Mariday, or you can find me on any social media at either OSP with MM or Original Sports Podcast. And you can also find us on YouTube. Our show airs on Tuesday nights, 7:05, and on Roku from 9 to 10 on Tuesday nights.
Well done. And last but not least, Mr. Katz, we're going to see you soon enough.
Yes, looking forward to catching up with you and Candy in Milwaukee, and that's going to be a whole lot of fun. Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to seeing you both. As far as where you can find me, you can follow me on my Twitter or X, whatever you call it these days, at Sports Team News, or you can follow me on my blog at bellyupsports.com, where I'm writing about all things baseball. And one of the articles in there is, you guessed it, Shoheiohtani doesn't deserve to win the MVP award.
Okay, well, that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm glad that IBWAA is a place for you to put your content, and soon enough, it'll be another place for us to put this show, as well as wherever I decide to write as well. Meanwhile, great job by my crew. We appreciate the participation in the chat room as well. So on behalf of George Eichhorn, Mark, the Barber, Mariday, Eric Katz, and Candy, also our producer, my name is Scott Morgan, we're at the Motor City Mad Mouse. Thank you for joining us on this edition of 108 Stitches Baseball. See you next Monday night. Good night, everybody.